Hey folks, Pallet here, back with another Minecraft video. If this is your first time visiting the channel, welcome in. If you've seen some of my videos before, welcome back. And to all of you, I'm glad you're here. In today's video, we're actually going to talk a little bit about the process that I went through to build this statue, the same statue that we saw in the last video that I posted. I had been wanting to put a really nice, detailed build like this in my world. And so my first thought was, let's go find some artwork, some images of large statues or even just, fantasy figures that I might be able to adapt into a statue. And I did. I found some really nice two-dimensional, digital art painting style things that I thought I could work off of. But then as I tried to figure out a starting point for this project, I realized that I just didn't have the art background that I needed for turning a flat rendering of a person into a 3D sculpture. I didn't know enough about the proportions of human anatomy, the ways to make things look kind of fully fleshed out and not just a flat image. So I started looking around for some help. I started looking around for any tools that I could find that might be able to show me a way to do that. And as part of my search, I ran across a video that I linked in the last video by Void that showed how he took some 3D models and imported them directly into Minecraft. I didn't want to import directly. I wanted to actually get designs that I could build myself in the world. And so I kind of took Asuma's video as a leaping off point, and I found what I needed from there in order to build this block by block all the way from the base to the top, and then start customizing it a little bit. So let's take a look, and I will show you some of these tools that I found and how I went about converting a tabletop miniature into a 180 block high statue in Minecraft. So the first step in getting a model into Minecraft is finding a model that we like. Now, what we're going to be looking at are STL files. Those are a fairly standard 3D printer file. You can come out to a website like Thingiverse and find models for all sorts of things. This is not actually where I found the file that I used for the angel statue. I found that at another website, cults3d.com, and this is the page for the actual miniature that I used. I'm sure that there are ways to convert other files for models like this, but STLs are pretty much standard from what I can tell, and the tools that we're going to use are geared towards that. So once we have found a model that we like and we download it, it's going to be a matter of converting that into a blueprint or a series of blueprints or plans that we can then build in Minecraft. One of the problems that I ran into that I had to solve was that 3D printer files have to obey certain constraints, like gravity. You have, in this model, for example, these wings that would be, they would need some sort of support to be built up, which, and I'm just guessing here, I haven't actually spoken with the guy who created this model, but in the bit of experience that I have had, that would require a lot of extra material to build up. So what this creator did, and you may be able to see this down here at the bottom, was they broke this build up into multiple pieces. So we've got, if the image will load, we've got two wings that are each separate STL files and the main body. There we go. and for some reason the wing previews don't want to load. But you can see the main body is, it's basically a humanoid there carrying the sword. The wings would be printed off separately, and then once you get all three of those pieces together, you would use some sort of glue or resin or something to attach those and come up with the final figure. That presented a problem as I was wanting to build this in Minecraft. I thought, well, I definitely could build the main body and then add the wings on later, but it would take a bit of work just to plan out and make sure that the wings were centered properly, that they were level with each other, and that they were at the right angle. So that led me to search for some tools that would allow me to edit and modify the STL files themselves, because what I essentially wanted to do was bring all three of these files into one model and then save that as a single file. That is where I found Tinkercad. Now, Tinkercad is an Autodesk product. I know there are a lot of people on both sides of Autodesk products. This one is a free web-based app. I didn't feel too bad about signing in with that. I've actually had to use some of the Autodesk products through my job, and so I just set up a quick free personal account here. I'm not going to tell you that this is the only way to go. I'm not going to tell you it's even necessarily the best. This was the one that I was able to find that I could do in my browser without having to install any additional apps. And you'll see here one of the files that I have, probably the only file that I have of my own, is this statue. So we're going to come in here real quick so we can see. You've got the three different STL files here that are kind of color-coded. We've got the wing there, we've got that wing, and then we've got the main body. So I was able to come up here to import and import the body, then import one of the wings, bring it over, line it up on the back of the statue, and then import the next wing and do the same thing. The controls took a little bit of getting used to. I don't do a lot in CAD sort of applications normally, so it took me just a little bit of getting used to, but fortunately Tinkercad has a very handy shortcuts for the 3D editor cheat sheet here that basically got me what I needed. Knowing how to orbit, how to pan, zoom in and out, and then how to group and ungroup things. I will warn you, one of the mistakes I made the first time I tried to export this was I had one portion of the model selected, and when I went to export, that was the only thing that exported. So make sure that you do not have any individual pieces selected there when you go to export. Let's go back here for a moment. We are going to create a 3D design, and we will import, and let's see, do I still, yes, I've still got that, and I'm just going to drag in the Archangel body. Now, for what we're doing here, the unit of measurement doesn't really matter. The scale I'm just keeping to 100%. I'm not too concerned about the overall dimensions. And as we import this file, it may just take it a moment. It's not a huge file. This is, after all, a tabletop miniature, so it wasn't designed to be huge, but there it is. There's the body. And then we're going to come around to the back side, and give me a moment just to, oh, that's right, that's right. I always forget about the shift key to pan in here. There we go. So we can see here that we've got spots right here where the wings are designed to go. So let's go ahead and import one of the wings. Now, one of my other concerns, aside from just getting everything to line up perfectly, if I had done these as separate builds in Minecraft, would have been the fact that the as 3D printed parts, they wouldn't necessarily be oriented to the same X, Y, and Z axis angle, if that makes sense. This wing very easily may have been designed to print so that the top of the wing is completely level with the surface of the printer platform. And so trying to adjust that to fit the model once I got it into Minecraft would have been just a little bit more difficult. And now let me jump back over here because we move up on the z-axis, it's control. I told you I'm not a that's not what I wanted. That's what I wanted. As you could all briefly see, everything that I've got open on this computer. So now we drag this over here, and we are just going to maneuver that. That's pretty close, actually. We're going to call that good just for the moment. So you can see that we are getting that wing lined up with the statue. There's just a little bit of a gap right here. It's nothing horrible. I think when I did my my previous attempt at this, I lined it up maybe just one grid square in further to eliminate some of that space. But that's how it works. It's a fairly user-friendly interface. If you've done any sort of 3D modeling before, I'm sure this will be second nature. But again, on their blog, easy to find, they've got the shortcuts that you might need for maneuvering around in here. So once we've got that all done, and then we've got the file saved, the next step, and this is a website that Isuma talked about and showed off in his video from a couple of years ago. This is drewbubu.com. What we want to do is come to the Miscellaneous tab and click Voxelizer. We've got, and I'm just going to grab, since I've got these handy right here, we're going to grab this file. What we can do, if I remember right, is, no, we cannot, because I did not plan this correctly. We want to, there it is, open the file, grab the Archangel body. Now you notice the preview for this Archangel body actually shows that it's oriented horizontally instead of standing up, which would make it a lot easier to print on a 3D printer. One of the very handy things about DrewBubu that I found, quite by accident, is that when I load it in, and you notice it is very voxelized here, it is roughly standing up. It's in the same orientation that it was over in Tinkercad. It's just a little bit chunkier. So how do we fix that? How do we get the level of detail we want? And if I wanted to build a statue that was only 48 blocks high, this would work. You could kind of tell that it's supposed to be a statue. There's the knee. We can see the sword here. It's a little rough. So what we do is we come down to this slider. I had calculated about how high I wanted to make this based on the platform it was going to stand on, and I bumped it up to about 181, I believe. And at that level of detail, we can actually start to see the shape of the statue come through. We can see the folds of the robe a bit. We can kind of see some texture to the hair. Now, of course, nothing super detailed, but for Minecraft, this was exactly what I was looking for. Now, the next thing that we need to do, and the whole reason that we came here to drewbubu.com, is we need to export this as a series of blueprints that we can use to build this up layer by layer. What Asuma did in his video was he actually saved this as an object file that he was then able to just import directly into Minecraft. Once it was in Minecraft, he used World Edit or something similar to, I would have to rewatch the video. I'm pretty sure he said it was World Edit, but he used that to kind of texture the surface of it to change it into different blocks other than just a default. I wanted to actually build this. I wanted to build it up from the very base, build it one layer at a time. So there are two options in here. The first one is right here. You see it says PDF. If I tick that PDF, the save dialog changes here to save as PDF. And we're going to save that real quick. Did not take very long. But there's another PDF right here. I did not notice this one the first time that I did this. I noticed this after I had built the statue, and I was looking to see if I had any other options, if in hindsight there were ways I could have made my job easier. This one, you notice this changes the save dialog to a multi-layer PDF. So we're going to go ahead and grab that one, and then we will open the first one, and we will open the second one. So, as we get into this discussion about layers from the PDF files, I want to give you another perspective on this, just so you can see what I'm thinking of when I talk about a layer. We are at the base of the entire statue right now, and by a layer, I mean a layer of blocks at a particular Y level. Now, the blocks that we're walking on are layer 1 in the PDFs that we're about to look at. Then we've got, in fact, this may be easier if I turn on my overlay so you have the cursor there, the reticle. This would be layer 2. This would be layer 3, layer 4, layer 5, and so on all the way up. When we look at it on the PDFs, of course, we're going to be seeing one of those layers at a time, but I just wanted to give you another perspective on it. I know sometimes trying to convert a flat image from a PDF, even if it's a series of flat images, into a three-dimensional model, it can be tough to visualize. So that's what we're talking about as we start getting into all of these layers. So, layer 1 out of 181 layers. Here is the very bottom layer. Both of these files, there we go. This is the regular PDF. The second tab is the layered PDF. This one, you notice we have our base layer. We've got our base layer there. Let's go up to, say, layer 5 of 181. Here we've got what layer 5 should look like. On this multi-layer PDF, the gray squares are where the current layer should be at. The X's are where in fact, let me zoom that in just a little bit. The X's are where the previous layer should be. This would help to really keep everything lined up. As it was, when I was building mine, I had to choose some points of reference in the world. Now you'll notice these PDFs are set up on grids of 10 by 10. Minecraft does chunks of 16 by 16, so this doesn't line up with chunk borders, unfortunately. So what I had to do was lay down, what I chose to do anyway, alternately using dirt in some locations and scaffolding in others, was I laid down some dirt at major intersections of the grid lines. When I started, I chose, this is kind of the center point of the entire grid right here. We can probably see it a bit better. Can we? Yeah, it's highlighted on these. We'd have to zoom down quite a ways to some of the higher levels to see it completely unobstructed, but this is the center. And what I did was I put a dirt block on each of the 4 squares surrounding the center. And then I knew I just kind of had a baseline to start working off of for laying out each layer. And as you go up layer by layer, using this one, you had to be very careful to make sure that each one was oriented to this center point correctly. There's more than one time when I built my current layer off by one block to the left or right, and it threw the whole layer off. Would have been so much simpler if I had realized that I could have done a multi-layer PDF like this to show the layer below as a reference point for where I'm putting the current layer. If I import any more STL models like this into Minecraft, I am definitely going to use this multi-layer PDF. So there you go. That's the process that I used for converting a 3D printer model of a tabletop miniature into a statue in Minecraft. Many thanks to Asumavoid for the video that got me started down this road. Thanks to Jerbubu.com, to Cults3D.com, to Tinkercad for just being free and available tools that I could use to do this. I hope that that maybe this gives you some tools that you can use down the road for making some creations in Minecraft as well. Thank you all so much for watching, and we will see you in the next video. Bye!